Right, and and we start. Yes, 4, 2, 1, on air. Yeah. Hello, hi everybody. Good afternoon. So today is it's the day. Yeah, today we start the perhaps the most important tasting we ever had. Well, yeah, this is the Tokaj Renaissance tasting, and on my yeah, right hand, left hand, Heinarka Sabo, the president of the Association of Tokaj Renaissance. I let you the voice in a second, and just let me tell you a few words my from my heart. Yes. So this is the most important, perhaps the most important ever wine and wine region in Poland and for us. Uh, we, uh, we our connections, our cooperation is so long. I mean, historical. It's so long and it's so fruitful that there's no other case like that. They produced the wine and we sold this wine. We made them rich, and yes, they made us rich too. And it worked very well for a long time. And then when Poland fell in the end of the 18th century, they experienced a huge crisis. Uh, and yeah, and I believe we should drink this wine every Sunday. And perhaps after this tasting, you start to drink these wines or similar wines from Tokaj every Sunday. Just yeah, I have to admit that yeah, perhaps the best collection of the Tokaj wines, perhaps the best in the world, was uh, uh, it was the Fukers family from Warsaw, and until the 1939 it was in the hands of Fukers, and yeah, then it was taken by someone else, by very prominent German citizen named Hermann Goering, and then it disappeared. But one day, perhaps, yeah, it will be fine again. Well, Heinalka, so this is here's to you, and short introduction. Yeah, just a few words organizational. Just let me. So use the spittoons, please. The tasting is long, and the best is always the best. And do not forget to take the photos for Heinalka. Yeah, the photos of your groups, and enjoy the tasting. Heinalka,
Okay,
the voice is yours.
thank you, thank you. So, hello everyone from Tokaj region. I know very well some of you, and I know that you have already visited our wine region, and you know a lot about our wine grapes, about us grapes, about the development of Kocsis in general. You have already attended maybe our harvest, our bigger intensive harvest, and you know our unusual winemaking. So Toka is a magical place. Toka is the oldest wine region in the world. The classification was created middle of the 18th century, before than Porto. So you can see the map of the wine region. The wine region is a triangle of mountains. These mountains protect us from the coldest northern winds. The size of the wine region is 5,800 hectares. Next slide.
Heinalka, I'm sorry for interrupting, but we can't hear you. Could you speak a little louder, please?
Yes, yes, of course, of course. So
Yeah,
the now it's all right. Now it's
now
all
it's
right.
much better. Yes.
Okay, okay. So I just said that the the size of the wine region is 5,800 hectares, and the form of the wine region is a triangle of mountains, which protect us from coldest northern winds. Next time. So we have a unique soil in Tokaj wine region. The region is a volcanic area with different bedrock, rhyolite, andesite, basalt. So we have different bedrocks and different soil. The wine region is completed of 480 different historical routes. Next slide. Hello.
We still have a problem. We can't hear you, unfortunately. That perhaps uh, could you change the PC, perhaps?
Yeah, yeah. So maybe
Yeah,
is it
and
now? You can hear me. Can you hear me right now?
well, it's not perfect, yeah, but let's do it perhaps. Let's do it the other way. Let's taste the first wine, if you don't
Yeah,
mind,
let's taste the first wine. Yeah.
and then you come back and with the
Yeah.
introduction.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, and
Yeah.
sorry for
Sure.
that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a bit earlier than preview, but let's try with the first wine, the Großdegenfeld Harschlevelu, and if Mate Tot is with us, Mate, yeah,
Hello, everyone.
yeah.
I would
So
like to welcome you from Tartsal, one of the town in the Tokaj region. We are. You could see on the map that there is in the southern part of Tokaj there is a big mountain which is called surprisingly the Tokaj Hill, and around the Tokaj Hill there are one of the most famous wine growing towns, and one of them is called Tartsal, and that's where our estate is. It's just next to Tartsal, and as you can see from the picture, what you can see is a castle. So it's not exactly the winery, but the winery. But next to the winery, there is also a castle which were renovated in 2003 for a four-star castle hotel, and this is like the monarch the times of the monarchy are revived here. And you know it's like a typical castle hotel with antique furniture, etc., and excellent cuisine with our wines. So these places are really good touristic places to visit in Tokaj, and there are quite a few other places too which worth it. You can see an aerial picture now. So we like nature a lot. We are making organic viticulture, which means that we are producing bio wines. So organic means just a philosophy that makes the product with the smallest possible harm to the nature, and with keeping the best balance between the existing ecosystem and the grape monoculture. So we don't use herbicides, we don't use pesticides, we use just very few spraying chemicals, mostly natural ones, and we use only organic fertilizers, etc. So in our park, you can see the park in the middle with the trees. In the middle, the castle hotel. Above the castle hotel, there is a building which is actually very, very large. That's a winery, which is mostly hidden among the trees. And around the estate, the vineyards are all belong to the Großdegenfeld wine estate. These were renovated recently in the past 10 years, which is considered not very old for viticulture. And and the best place among all, I can safely say, is the top of the Theresia Hill. There is a chapel named the Theresia Chapel, and that also belongs to our estate. And it was renovated around 6 years ago, and it is a beautiful hilltop view. We will see another picture about it in a few moments. So if we go to the next slide. Um, Next picture, please. Okay, thank you. This is one part of the cellar which goes into the hill deep inside. So the picture is taken about around 6 meters underground, and this is the part of the closed part of the cellar, which is a treasure for the antique wines we have. Okay. I just want to speed up a little bit to give time to everyone else, and I think we want to taste the wine also. So let's just see a technical sheet for a moment before we go to the other pictures. Can we see the technical sheet of the wine? Thank you. So I also have a bottle here, so everything is original. What I say, you can see it says clothing and felt organic. This is an organic wine, so it's a certified organic wine. This is made 100% from hash level. Hash level is the second most important variety. I'm pretty sure that Hajnalka will talk more about the varieties of Tokaj. This Furmint is the most common variety, which has less fruitiness but very nice acidity and excellent sensitivity for noble rot for making sweet wine specialties. Hashla value, on the other hand, has very nice sweeter aromas of linden flower and honey. So if you smell it, you will see that this has some intensity and some sweetness in the bouquet. And when you taste it, you will see it's not completely dry. It's the upper part of the dryness. So it's not, we don't say it's semi-sweet or semi-dry, but it's definitely not bone dry. So there is a 5.6 grams per liter of residual sugar. It's enough to make it completely round with the crisp acidity, which comes with the terroir and the vintage mostly, because 2020 was a colder, wet vintage, and that means that you have more acidity. The acidity is kept in the grape, not like when it's a hot vintage. So you taste it, and this intensive minerality of Tokaj region. This is the saltiness you feel. It's like a heat which can be felt together with the intensive acidity of the vintage and of the wine and of the reductive technology, because we don't use anything which connects the wine with, when we don't make it possible for the air to touch the wine. So it's completely reductive and it's fresh, and it's like a photo shoot of the wine's quality, which includes only the vintage, the variety, and the terroir. There is no technological tricks which would improve the or disguide the wine from its original purpose. So we don't use barrel aging, we don't use cork. We just put hermetic closing on it and to keep it completely fresh. It's best when it's cold, and it's very good with dishes like salads, for example, or with easier meat dishes like fish or chicken. Let's just can I don't know how much time I have, but let's just see the yeah, okay. Perfect. Okay. So, if you have any question about the wine, I'm pretty sure that I will get some help in translation. But otherwise, just let's just see the last pictures. And we have 35 hectares, which is considered medium to large in Tokaj standards. So the vineyards you can see around the estate is just 10 hectares, and in the Teresia vineyards here, and there is also another 25 hectares, which is on the border of Mad. So it's a bit northern, but not too far. So 35 hectares, 100% in organic viticulture, and that I think that makes us unique. There is very few large wineries in Tokaj who are converted to organic. We hope more and more wineries are starting to practice, and more and some of them are starting to certify. And you see it is a good trend. Our motto is, we melt nature, tradition, and history here. The owner of the castle hotel of the whole estate is called Countess Degenfeld. So it's actually a countess with Hungarian origin. So the countess speaks Hungarian. She lives in Germany at the moment with her family, and as soon as the communism ended in Hungary, they purchased this estate, which brings back their Tokaj related history, because they always had an estate in Tokaj. You can see perfect the interior design is the imagination of the owner, and they also visit the estate quite a few times per year. Of course, now it was more difficult with the pandemic. This is the front of the castle hotel, so you can see the terrace of the suite, and you can imagine having breakfast on the terrace instead of a crowded place. It's really amazing, and this is the hilltop chapel. And you can see the the bottle of wine is a different hash level we have. This is a heavier barrel aged version of our hash level, but it's definitely another wine to which worth to try. So what we are seeing now is the top of the Theresia hill with the Theresia chapel. Okay, next picture. I don't know if you have any more. Yes.
But we should perhaps
Okay,
stop
we
it
should
now.
go.
But you will come back. You
I
will
will
come
come back with the next wine
with another one. Yeah,
and,
perfect. Thank you very much, Mate, for this.
thank you very much for listening. I
Thank
will.
you, and really, I can imagine a breakfast on the terrace.
Yeah, I became quite hungry actually from mentioning it.
Yeah, it's a late breakfast now, but yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
Thank you
okay.
very much. And now let's try Heinalka. Let's try again. Perhaps because perhaps this time it works. Heinalka, are you with us? No, it's still Mate.
Yummy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Can we hear you now? It's more. Say something, please.
Let's go for the next one, and I try to set up my iPad, please. Okay.
Right. So let's do it.
Thank
This.
you.
Thank you.
Sorry. Bye.
No, it's not your fault. So right now this should be Bodrog Bormieri and Christian. Christian? No, this is Heinal. Christian Farkas.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you
Thanks,
hear
God.
me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, and now we can see you. That's
You
amazing.
see me. Okay, I'm not see everybody, but I'm not see you, but you can
All
see
right,
me.
Peter, Christian. So I leave you, and yeah, I'm disappearing now. And the floor is yours, right?
Okay. This nice pictures. Okay, nice to meet you on this online events, everybody. My name is Christian Farkas. I'm owner and the winemakers of the Bodrog Borműhely since 2007. And there is my partner. From the beginnings, I have a partner, János Hajdu. We work together. János focus on the viticultural works, basically, and the winemaking too, of course. Me, mostly the tradings and winemaking too, of course. We are cultivate now 6.5 hectare vineyards in Bodrog Keresztúr and Bodrog Kishalud. It's just 5 kilometers from Tokaj, not so far. And producing now 20,000 to 35,000 bottle wine, depending on the possibilities, the business possibilities, and of course the vintage. We start to organic cultivation from 2016. And from this vintage 2021, we will have for all wines a certification for bio cultivation. We try to combine the tradition and the innovation in our philosophy. And I hope it was well balanced year by year. I don't know, you have wine on your glass. I bring, I send for this event the innovation brands. The first, the dry Tokaj, and later a sweet called Love Tokaj. But we also have single vineyard white wines and classic Samarodny, and also high class Asu wine too. Do you have wines on your glass? Can we talk about the wines? I'm not hear you. Just a minute.
Christian, you lost, but yes, if you hear us, we do have the wines in our glasses. So you can continue, but please come back. feel a little bit like Kevin. Yeah, so the just for your information, because I miss it with the first wine, with all this, let's say, from this nerves. The first wine was imported by Rafa Vino, brave company from Nowy Sącz, I believe. And the second one with missing Christian is Winemates from Warsaw. Yeah, Christian, you're back.
Okay, I'm here. Okay.
So I go up. Yeah.
Okay. I send for this event this innovation brands, the dry Tokaj. But we also have single vineyards and also have classic Samaroni, high class Sasu, but now we focus on this dry Tokaj. This is our estate wines. We want to make a quite fresh, fancy style, contemporary Tokaj blend. Of course, in Tokaj, we build for the base for the full mint, but not 100%. The full mint gives the body, the texture, the minerality of the wine in this blend, and the 19 vintage around 70%. Another part, the harsh value, is also very important grape kind in Tokaj, giving the wine the feminine parts, the flavors, the elegance, the fineness, I hope. For the 19 dry Tokaj, we start the harvest usually the September first week. Only healthy grapes, what we need, this is what we want to harvest in this wine. We have many small harvest time, and we want to always just collect the very healthy grapes. It's very important for this wine. The wine made by controlled and chilled fermentation in stainless steel tank, and we want to keep some residual sugar in this wine after the fermentation. I think in this wine we have 6 grams. So if you taste, you can feel some freshness, I hope. The very light Tokaj wines, very drinkable one. And I hope after 12 months maturing in the bottle, you can find some minerally texture also. It's very important for me. So this is maybe what I want to tell for you for my first one. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Christian. Thank you very much. At the end, we're gonna have question and answers.
Yes.
And you can still answer on the chat.
All right. Okay.
Right.
Jackie, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and hope to see you soon. Right.
Of course.
And wine. Thank you. Bye bye. So now is or another try with Heinalka, or this is this is not Heinalka actually, or we pass to Szarolta Bardos and Tokaj Nobilis, which is the third wine. Szarolta, if you're here with us, because Heinalka is I'm here again.
Yes.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay. Hello, welcome. Welcome in the very, very difficult to make wine tasting here, but this is our life in the last 2 years, and we make many similar tasting for the different countries. I hope this pandemic will finish and you can visit us again, because the Polish tourist is very missing us in the region. But I would like to try the wine and my winery. So we are a small family winery in Bodrog-Keresztúr. Our vineyards in the next village, very close to the Bodrog-Borműhely. So we are a family vintage winery. You can see my grandfather and grandmother, and they started the vinification 60, close to 70 years ago. But that time our family cultivated only 1 hectare. But 2000, that time I work in a big wineries. We established the Tokaj Nobilis, and that was the first vintage when we produced at home, small, very small quantity, but that was the first vintage. Nowadays we cultivate 7 hectares in a two different vineyards, two different terroir. We will taste the Barakonyi vineyard. Maybe please the next picture. And Hajnalka tried to explain us a few words about the region, but I hope she can help it, and we can go to the next picture. Yes, and this is the Barakonyi vineyard. This is my family vineyard. As I told earlier, my grandparent started cultivation here, but we should replant this place because the vineyards was very old and was very bad condition and should cut and replant. And we replanted 2000 and 99 and 2000, and now we have 2 hectares in this terroir, which is a very beautiful place. And I believe I am very lucky because it's very unique place, because the soil, it's very rich. The humus, it's not too high, but it's very rocky and very mineralic, and it adds very special character the wine. I hope everybody have in a glass this wine and can taste, and you can enjoy this wine. This wine comes from the 2019, which was a very, very, very good vintage. It's one of my favorite vintage because in this vintage was very good the sweet and was a very good dry wine also. And this vintage was very balanced, normal summer, not too hot, not too dry. The autumn, yes, this is also the Barakonyi. The autumn was a normal, and we can start the harvest in September. Later arrived the rain, and after the dry harvest, we collect very nice and very rich asu berries also. So this vintage close to the perfect, and I like it very much. And this wine, after the very gently pressing, fermented in a barrel, and the fermentation was spontaneous. So I don't use yeast. I believe the spontaneous fermentation, and it's one thing which is very important for me. I started the organic cultivation 2015, and from 2018, the wines, all of our wines is organic wines. And I don't use any chemicals in a winery, and in a vinification also very, very clear. And if you smell it, you can feel very, very fresh wine, and in a citrus, a little bit mint and lime on the smell. And if you taste it, you can feel very nice acidity, very fresh and fruity wine. End of the taste, it's very mineral wine, but it's very long. Alcohol, it's normal. It's around 13%, not too high. It's very, very drinkable, I believe. So this is a picture about my winery, the winery in Bodrog Keresztül. This is the next village to the Bodrog Kisfalud. And this is a very old house, and we don't know exactly how many, but it's approximately 200 years old house. And end of the house in the winery, and here the cellar also, which is also very, very old. And maybe if you show the next picture. Okay, and you can see tanks, which is not so interesting, but the cellar, it's very nice and very good climate for the aging. Barrel aging and bottle aging also is very good because the temperature is very stable in a whole year around the 12 degree. And maybe the next, yes, it's winemaking. We use a very strict selection in the vineyards, and we have maximum 3 ton grape per hectare. So it's very, very small quantity. For me, very important, the high quality, not the big quantities. So it's because of it we use. I work for traditional variety, Furmint. This is the most important in my vineyards. The second, it's Hárslevelű. Yellow Muscat, it's very popular. And the fourth variety, the Kövérszőlő, which is very small variety, only few producers work with this variety. Nowadays, it's very important the dry wine for us, but of course, if it's possible, we produce the sweet wine also. And I don't know if I have time or maybe finish. Yes, if the pandemic it's ending and we wait for you, and you can stay longer time in the region, not only 1 day, because you can visit our beautiful villages, and you can stay in our guest house and taste in the winery, and you can visit the cellar and the winery also.
Okay, thank you very much, Charlotta. And I know you have to leave.
Yeah.
But well, perhaps someone else from the winery will be with us.
No?
No? Okay, so if anybody wants to contact Charlotta,
Please send a
which is
message.
again the Rafa Vino, yeah?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, so you have the one chance or no chance afterwards. Right, you have the contact here, and please stay with us on the chat, perhaps.
Yes, okay.
Regarding the prices, because there's a question on the chat regarding the prices. If the wine is imported by someone, we just give the name of the importer. And if it's not, we give the price here. During this tasting will be only one wine, which has no importer in Poland. Right. Thank you very much, Charlotta. And now the third try, and perhaps this time.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, this is miracle. Yes.
Perfect. So sorry, very sorry for this technical issue. It was my MacBook that it seems that my iPad is working. So
MacBook,
hello everyone.
Yes.
Hello everyone from Tokaj region. Start again my presentation. A little bit I would like to speak about the region and about our association Tokaj Renaissance. So the first slide is the map of Hungary. Our country and the wine region is situated between Western Europe and Balkan. You can see the location of Tokaj wine region on the northeast part of Hungary, 260 kilometers from Budapest, and it's the all highway from Budapest and almost all highway from Krakow, from Poland. Next slide. So the wine region, the form of the wine region is a triangle of mountains. There are three mountains in the three coins of the triangles, and these mountains protects from the coldest northern wind, the wine region. The size of the wine region is 580 hectares under wine. Next slide. So Tokaj is a volcanic area. Thanks to that, so we have different bedrocks in the wine region: rhyolite, tuff, andesite, basalt, dacite, zeolite. So a lot of kinds of bedrocks and different soil. And thanks to that, we have 480 different historical crew of the wine region. And all these conditions help us to produce top quality single vineyard wines. So you are going to taste several single vineyard wines today. Next slide. The climate of the wine region is a continental climate. We have cold winter, hot summer, and the autumn fog rising from the river Tisza and Bodrog encourage the development of the famous noble rot Botrytis cinerea, the Asu grapes. Next slide. Hello, next slide, please. Can you hear me? Okay, so the grape varieties of the Tokaj wine region are Furmin, Hárslevelű, Muscotáj. These are the three main grapes of the wine region. And other three grapes Okay, and other free grapes are Kabar, Zeta, and Kövérszőlő. So just some words before continue the tasting about the history of the wine region. We have a very long history. The first documentary evidence of the word asu was in 1571, exactly 450 years ago. Tokaj is the oldest appellation in the world. The classification was completed in the middle of the 18th century, even before Bordeaux. So we were the first appellation in the world. In the 19th century, Tokaj was the most expensive wine in the world, and it was coveted by royal families, and it was the favorite wine of big artists like Goethe, Voltaire, and Schubert. Tokaj was internationally introduced in different markets already in the middle of the 16th century, and thanks to Polish merchants. So the fall of the communism triggered radical changes in Tokaj, and traditional wine categories came back. In 2002, Tokaj was listed as a protected area by UNESCO. We are World Heritage classified by UNESCO. Our association was set up in 1995, and it was the first association after the Second World War in the wine region. Our members are a producer whose livelihood is farming grapes and crafting wines. We have smaller family wineries and big companies as well. And for all of our members, wine export is very important. So we are not only present on the domestic market, but we are exporting all over the world. Our commitment is making great wines and enhance the recognition of Tokaj wine region. I would like to invite you to visit us in Tokaj. We have wonderful cellars. You are all welcome to taste wines here. So I would like to give the word for the next producer, who is Patricius. Thank you very much. Have a nice tasting.
Hello, everyone. I would like to greet you from Patricius. My name is Peter Monar. I'm the general manager of the company. Some of yours visited us already earlier. Just briefly, I would like to introduce the winery itself. So we were established in 2000. So last year we almost celebrated our 20th anniversary, but COVID came unfortunately. But anyway, we are very modest guys, so we never celebrate, only working. So speaking seriously, our company was established by Hungarians. We have Hungarian owners, and we cultivate more than 85 hectares in the area of 5 villages in 7 different locations, 7 different terroirs. So what we believe is that the knowledge is in the terroirs. So much before we renovated this beautiful house in which our offices, tasting rooms are located, we bought and replanted our vineyards, and then in 2005 the winery was finished. You can see from the bird eye view that everything is under the ground. It's very hidden in nature. If you come here, you can see it's very silent and very implemented into the nature, into this World Heritage Site, as Heinalka said. All the vineyards are first-class vineyards. You have to know about the viticulture, that we run a very strict with pruning, shoot selection, and the green setting of the bunches. We can guarantee the number of the bunches, so exactly what we want to grow. So coming back, the winery has a gravity flow system. So we dig down 6 feet into 6 feet of depth. So the grape section is the gentlest can be. So the weight of the grape moves itself. We never press the grape or do something harmful to it. We never crush the grape. The be peaceful and reach very clean juices and of course very natural taste. Even if thank you. So the building itself, the old building is more than 300 years old. It was always a press house in the hill. So beautiful, nice house made of local stone, of course, the local stones, of course. When we arrived here, we wanted to keep the heart as a heart of the winery, and that's why we renovated this and we hid the winery under the ground in the back of the Of course, without analyzing aging cellars in Tokaj, there is no winery. The depth of the aging cellar is 11 meter, very standard temperature, very good humidity, high humidity we have in the aging cellar. So this is a crucial point in the winery, of course, to have an excellent cellar. Tasting room. Actually, it was the flat of the winemaker of the count because this house was always owned by rather bigger families who owned the biggest part of land in the hill in the Tokaj area where we are located. So that was a flat earlier. Now we use it as a tasting room. So frequently invite people from Hungary, from all around. There were a lot of people, a lot of Polish people is arriving to the winery for tastings and visiting. So we are open again. So thank you. You're welcome. Okay, so now I would like to introduce the wine, the first wine of the Mauritius, which is our Rifle Meat from 2018 called Foodie Selection. The selection means it's special selection of the base grape. Those vineyards here we use, which are the oldest ones, in Seneca Pieces vineyard. Almost 70 years old vineyards, and the root system is deep down in 4 or 5 meter depth. We are using the base rock with rooted. It brings up the minerality. Minerals which can be very well tasted in the wine. So for me, this is something how the ancient being ordinary could be. What is ordinary? Which is the traditional base wine, dry wine category of Tokaj for 5, 6, 7 centuries. Hungary is a wine drinking country. It was always domination in Hungary to drink wine. Beer came here much later on, 200, 300 years ago. So that was the everyday wine, let's say, where always a part of the whole lot of the wine was kept in barrel. Barrel or rather used many times. So the 2 carat% of the wood of the oak character is hidden in the back. So 40% of this wine was fermented in ancient time in different kind of sizes of barrels and different kind of age, blue and blue barrels. The 50% was fermented in stainless steel and then the blended portions to arrive to a place when we have the nice food character, but of course there is a nice touch of the wood already, a nice mic exhibition to the course of the diet, and every ages in the apple is very elegant, I think. Very tasty, nicely run, elegantly, around, long lasting. For me, it's nice classic food selection to the last year, before Crucial and others in London International Launch Training and the country around the world. And this one can be quite excellent with different kind of issues. In co-op, we call the different kind of issues, sweet water issues, food issues. So it was really well in the
It's me now? Okay, okay, my turn again. So it's Füleki, not disznókő. Thank you very much. Now another role. I am the estate manager of Füleki Tokaj Estate. The next slide, please. And the first wine that we are going to taste will be a Tokaj Kabar. But let's speak a little bit about these pictures. So you can see in the background the Tokaj Hill, and in the middle, that white building is the roof of our press house in the middle of the village of Bodrogkeresztúr. So we are near of the river Bodrog at the top of the Tokaj Hill. Please, next slide. You can see here our two buildings. The left building is the press house, and the right building is our estate center, which is a guest house as well. The next slide, please. So the press house was built in 2010, so 11 years ago. And at that time it won an architectural prize. It was building of the year because the house was built from local stone, and even the roof was made from local stone. So there are three material of the building: the concrete, the wood, and stone, which is the rhyolite tuff from mud and from Bodrogkeresztúr village. The next slide, please. So on that picture, you can see more details about our press house and about the architectural style of the press house. So it's a modern building using the local stone. Our winery is a medium-sized winery. We have vineyards all around Bodrogkeresztúr, in Tokaj village, in Bodrogkeresztúr village, Tarcal and Már. This structure of our estate defines our winemaking style. Next slide, please. So here you can see the inside of the building where the local stone is very important, and on the right picture our thermoregulated vats. We have all together 70,000 liter storage capacity. Next slide. In the new building, we have not only vats, but cellars as well. Of course, aging in cellar and fermenting in barrels is very important in Füleki winemaking method. Next slide. In Füleki, we are harvesting everything by hand, of course, than our other members. In plastic cages. The winemaking of the winery from the beginning is György Brezovcsig. You can see him on the right bottom picture, and on the right top picture, how is our pressed house during the harvest. So may I have the slide, the technical sheet of the wine, please? So now we are tasting a Kabar from the vintage 2018. 2018 was, I think, in the one of our hottest vintage. We have already started the harvest in August. We never ever started the harvest so early. This wine was harvested on 22 of August. The wine is produced in the village of Tarcal in the vineyard Vinai. So this one is a single vineyard wine. In a lot of our dry wines, including this wine, there is some residual sugar. So the residual sugar content of the wine is 7 grams. and the alcohol is quite high, is 14.5, but while tasting the wine, you can feel this alcohol, so the wine has a really nice balance. Some word about the Kabar grape. So Kabar is the youngest grape of the Tokaj wine region. This 2018 Kabar is only the 14th vintage of Kabar grape. In the wine region, we have altogether 35 hectares of Kabar vineyards. This wine is coming from a vineyard of 0.5 hectare. So we have a quite small production. In 2018, we produced altogether 1,316 bottles from this wine. So let me speak a little bit about the story of this wine. So Kabar is the youngest grape. It was created here in the wine region in the 70s, in the 1970s. And the creator of this new grape was the father of our winemaker, Mr. Laszlo Brezovcik. Kabar grape is a cross of the grape Hárslevelű and Bouvier. So when you taste this wine, you can feel the aromatic side of the Hárslevelű, and thanks to the Bouvier, this is an early ripening grape. It's different than the main grape of the wine region, the Furmint and the Hárslevelű. So when this grape was were caused in the 70s, the target of the grape was an early ripening variety and a good sugar collector variety. So usually in the Kabar grape, the sugar, there is some residual sugar and the alcohol content is quite high. So you can find this wine, you can buy this wine in Poland. We are working for years with Frozo, with Twoje Wino company. They have free shops in Poland, in Krakow, in Zakopane, and in Poznań, and the warehouse is located in Zakopane. So cheers.
Well, yeah, thank you very much, Renalka. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I missed two wines, but I was logged out for some. It's a very, perhaps it's too hot. Yeah. So now, right now, thank you. Anyway, jesteśmy przepraszam bardzo. So now it's number 5, yes, wine number 5, and check, and Andrea. Andrea from Disnok. Do you hear me? Does anybody hear me? Anybody is with us still? Okay, so Andrea from Disnoky, and yeah, it's a little bit nervous this tasting today. Sorry, I know you didn't hear very well, Peter Molnar. I hope you do hear me now. Andrea and Disnoky. Jesteś pewna, że nie było już Andrzej i Disnoki, kiedy mnie nie było? Okay. Okay, yeah. Let's right. Disnoki and Andrea, and if you are no, yeah, we can't pass to Love Tokaj because this is too sweet. So Haniec Andrea. Yeah, you're with us, Andrea. dałaś Andrea Haniusz. Yeah. The voice is given to you, Andrea. And it's the time. Andrea, hello. Click on the icons here below my face.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes. Hi.
Finally. Finally. Sorry, I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
that's this is a Central European mystery. Why does it work?
That's it.
Yeah. So now it's yours.
So welcome. Yeah, thank you so much. Finally, I'm here and welcome everybody. So I represent today the Snooker for you. It's a great pleasure to present our winery. So this is a picture of the winery, which was actually built in 1995 by designed Dezső Ekler, who is one of the most famous architects in Hungary. So this building is a new facility for the snooker, and we were able to start the production here in the Tokaj wine region. This snooker actually established in 1992, and this snooker, the name of this snooker, the Rock of the Wild Boar, was first recorded in 1413. And refers to a large rock atop of a small hill overlooking the vineyard. And as you know, we are one of the biggest one of the Tokaj wineries. We have 150 hectare vineyard in the southwest of the Tokaj region. And it was always equal with the finest place, and it was the first growth in 1732. So this is the garage, the tractor garage, where we keep our tractors. And this is the White Belvedere, which is actually one of the iconic building also. And next to it, you can find the Snooker, which is the rock, what I mentioned, the Rock of the Wild Boar. And so the estate was renewed and rebuilt by Axamilazim, who is a company which has many other chateaus and wineries in the world. For example, Chateau Pichon Baron in Bordeaux, and Port Quinta do Noval, and now Outpost in Napa Valley. And this is our cellar, which is actually new cellar. So it's not the traditional ones, which is actually, of course, like catacomb in the Tokaj area. But this is made for the snooker cellar in Tokaj, of course. So you can see we have new barrels. We aged our wine, of course, in this cellar. Most of the production are sweet wine, so you can see this is where we actually store our bottled Asus. It's one of our famous picture of the winery when you go to visit as a tourist or as a professional. You can see Essentia jars as well in the picture, and it's a beautiful cellar. So really recommend to visit for everybody this snooker. And so first, after it, I would like to talk about our wine. This is the first wine which we brought here and sent it to you. It's Inspiration, the Snooker 2018. So I hope everybody have this wine in the glass. So this wine is very special for us because first we made a basic estate dry ferment, but this one it's more special for us because this one it's a selection of the best plot in the Snooker vineyard. So the harvest is actually selected one by one, plot by plot, and manual harvest we do in our vineyard. And this is a tailored vinification for each lot, which is different selected yeasts and natural fermentation. So we have different lots, what we have, and then we blend it as finally when we decide what we can choose for this wine. So these are the highest quality for the dry in our estate. So once you taste, first, of course, you can see the nice color. It's a typical Tokaj wine. It's a ferment and hash level blending. So 78% of ferment and 22% of hash level. So you can see it's a nice blend. And on the nose, you can notice many freshness and fruitiness. Also has a nice crispy taste, and the acidity is just really fine and really elegant, just right and well balanced. As we called it, it's a perfect vintage, which the 2018 was for the dry, and why we called it really complex and rich and smooth wine, and really has nice nose on the fruit and minerality as well. So as you can see, the analysis, it's if you notice that the 14% of the alcohol, which can be high a bit for a white wine, but I think it's really well balanced still. So you cannot feel it this high alcohol level. It's really textured well. The body, it's fine and elegant. So we recommend this wine for really nice dishes. Also, as mentioned many times, but also good with seafood, salads, and really nice to try just an aperitif because it has 14 alcohol, so chilled and nice to drink as a summer drink. So really recommend to drink now. May I introduce more about the wine, or?
Well, I think it's perfect. Thank you very much. It's really two strong whites.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Stay with us for the second
I
tour
hope.
for the
Yeah.
ASU.
Okay.
And now, yes, ladies and gentlemen, once again, sorry for this mess up, but I was logged out for a while. And now we pass to the Bodrog Bormieri again. Yeah, and the wine. Yes, forgot one thing. The wine is imported by Konrad Marek, the famous Polish actor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Your wine.
exactly. Exactly. The importer is a famous Polish actor.
Yes.
Konrad, but Konrad is the owner, let's be honest, and he has a fantastic team who is working for him, of course. He actually lives in Spain, as I know now, and he's a big wine lover, Konrad, the actor, and he has a good team in Poland, in Warsaw, and they're doing a great job.
Yes, and yes. Thank you very much, Andrea, and
thank you.
Stay with us. And now we pass to Christian again. Christian from Bodrog Bormieri. Christian, are you with us? Christian left, or he's with us. Christian, this is time for love, Tokaj. It's time for love. If you remember those who participated the last tasting the love immigrant in Greece, remember this guy from Switzerland, an immigrant of love. So Christian, yes, hello. Can't hear you, but can see you.
I hear you again.
Perfect.
Can you see and hear me?
Yes, I can see and I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So
now it's your.
If you remember the third one on the list, basically the design. The Love Tokaj wants to be the sweet pear in this estate brand. The shape, the design, yeah, you can see. And I hope all of you, after the tasting, you will understanding my brand name choosing, why Love Tokaj. You will taste now a light, modern style sweet, which is more about the freshness, less about classic, the classic Tokaj style. I mean here the mature dust or summer only. In the Love, the grape varieties are 50% Furmint, 30% Hárslevelű, and 20% Muscat Lunel. It's called Sárga Muskotáj in Hungary. And the wine is produced for early drinking. We would like to create an easygoing sweet wine for everybody. The alcohol rate is low, around just 10%. Furmint was really fully ripe grape with late harvest character, as given by botrytis, of course. The fresh tropical fruits and acidity of the wines come from the Hárslevelű, and the overripe muscat giving the charming, lovely fragrance and taste of the cuvée. Can we switch for the vineyard pictures, please? It looks nice, but not this one. Is our house. I would like, this one, thank you very much. The grape harvested in different times and different vineyards. Here in the front, there is a Várhegy. It's a very nice vineyard. Somewhere in the middle of the picture, in the right corner in the middle, is called Lapis. And somewhere in the left, you can find the Deresla vineyard. The grape selected from this vineyard. The selected grape and selected separate batch. After the pressing, chilled fermented in stainless steel tank. After the fermentation, immediately after the first racking, somewhere in November, we made the blending, the cuvée. Very important, we are looking for the balance between the sugar and the acid part. I hope we made it. You can check it.
Thank you very much.
Actually,
thank you very much, Chris.
Yes?
Sorry. No, sorry.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Actually, was 60 gram per liter sugar beside 6.8 gram liter acid in the bottled wine. But also, I would like to give some recommendation. Either as an aperitif if you chilled well, or compare with Asian food. Chinese food is not perfect, or just simply to drink in the summertime. Here in Hungary, this kind of drinkable sweet wine most popular among the ladies. I think the price also help with the promotion here in Hungary. The price on the shelf are around 650 to 750 euro. By the way, available at the same price the dry Tokaj. Somebody asked on the chat side. I guess similar price on your market. I hope it's very good price value today. So,
hope so.
Please, if you have an opportunity to visit us, but you can find my wines on the Wine Mate selection in Poland. Please contact with the company if it's interesting. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you, and please stay with us. Please stay with us. And now it's Heinalka and Philip the Phenomenon. And we are definitely in the sweet wines sector now. So, Heinalka, it's your time.
Okay. So the second sweet wine and the tasting, it's a late harvest Tokaj from the same vintage than our Kabar wine 2018. As I mentioned you before, 2018 was one of the hottest vintage in the last year, so it was a very great vintage to produce late harvest wines. On the picture, you can see our estate center. It's a Baroque mansion built in the 18th century by the Füleki family. So the name of our winery is coming from the builder of our estate center. The company was set up in 98 by foreign investors and later bought by a Hungarian person, Mr. Peter Lovas, in 2007. And during the Kabar tasting, I spoke you about our press house, which was the first building which we built. And the second one was a renovation of 4 years. You can see on that two picture how was the building before and after the renovation. Next slide, please. It was a quite long work, and I try to put on that slide every single details of the how restorators worked, how we made the roof. There are pictures on the wall that you can visit if you come to Tokaj. The doors, the fireplace. So we renovated every single details. Next slide. Yeah, so the estate center, this Baroque mansion, is an excellent event place. So we organize here wine dinners, wine tastings for smaller and bigger groups. And the terrace of the mansion is an excellent place for aperitif. So I like it very much, an evening aperitif on the terrace. For a lunch aperitif is not very ideal because it's too hot, but the evening it's really excellent. On the left bottom picture, you can see a light painting. It happened at one of our events. It one of our programs at the village event of Bodrog Keresztúr, which means Mindszent Havi Mulatság. It's a festival at the end of September or beginning of October. This year it will be organized at the end of September. So at that festival, all of the wineries are opened in Bodrog Keresztúr village, and there are programs like at Füleki, this light painting. So the building is very ideal for light paintings, and there are concerts, tastings, very nice food in the village. So it's a really good occasion to visit us. Next slide. Yeah, so let's start to speak of the wine. So we are tasting a wine named Fülöp the Phenomenon. In Füleki, we have two brands. Our first brand is the Füleki brand. We tasted the Kabar. Kabar is one of the wines of the Füleki brand. So in Füleki brand, we have single vineyard wine. We have a really nice Furmint estate wine. We have not the opportunity to taste that wine now, but you have to come to Tokaj to taste it. So, and our second brand, it's a new brand. It was created 2 years ago, is the Fülöp brand. So it's a lighter, fresher brand for youngsters. Of course, with a very good quality and price ratio. So in this brand at the moment we have 3 wines, a dry one that you can see on the picture, late harvest wine that we are tasting now, and the 5 puttonyos asszú wine. All of these wines are a blend of the 3 main grapes of the Tokaj wine region, so Furmint, Hárslevelű, and Muscat. So no single vineyard wine, no one grape. It's an estate wine. I mentioned that we have 11 different locations at Füleki. So It gives us the opportunity to make really complex estate wine with blend from Tarcal, Mag, and Bodrogkeresztúr, and the winemaking of single vineyard wine. So let's taste the wine. So the residual sugar content is 64 grams. It's in Füleki brand. We have a late harvest wine as well, which is named Pallas. In Füleki brand, the late harvest wine's sugar content is 100 grams. In Fülöp brand, so in the second brand, it's around 60 grams. So it's a lighter style. In this wine, there are mainly shriveled grapes, so not asu grapes, mainly shriveled grapes, and we are really able to make this wine almost every year, or I would say 8 years from 10. It's a medium intense nose. You can feel some spiciness in the wine, and the fruitiness is really nice as well. I would recommend this wine as an aperitif. It's really nice with even goose liver, or just chilled like an aperitif, or at the end of the dinner with cheese, with lighter style cheese, and of course with Asian dishes. Our single vineyard dry wines, as the Kabar that we tasted, are fermented and aged in barrel. This wine was fermented in stainless steel, and after the fermentation, aged 7 months in barrel. So we can feel a little bit the barrel in the wine, but usually we use second and third field barrel. So our target with the barrel aging is just micro oxidation, and we don't want to put in advance the barrel taste. Yeah, and the name of the wine, just one word about the name of the wine. So the name of the wine is Fülöp. The wine is made of a stork, of an existing stork, because Bodrogkeresztúr village is a favorite place for stork for nesting. So if you come to the village now, you can find more than 20 storks nest in the village. And this Fülöp stork spent several winters in the village, so he didn't migrate, and the stork became one of the symbols of Bodrogkeresztúr village, and we decided to give the name of that stork to our second brand. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Renalka. And just to remind, your wine is imported by Tvoje Vino.
Of course, this wine is imported by Tvoje Vino. Tvoje Vino Frozo as well, so you can find in our free shops in Poznan, Zakopane, Krakow, and the warehouse is in Zakopane. So please call Greg, who is attending this tasting. So
thank you very much, Renalka.
Thank you.
And please stay with us. And now I have a pleasure to introduce Vivian and Barta Company, Barta Winery. Hello, Vivian.
Hello, good day. My name is Vivian Újvári, and I work as a winemaker for Barta Winery. Barta Winery is a small-sized family winery. We are owned by the Barta family. We cultivate 13.5 hectares of vineyards, and mainly I would like to speak about the Öreg Királydőlő now. So if I would translate it, it would mean Old King Vineyard, because in its first written mentioned in the 13th century, it was mentioned as part of the royal estate. And also, what we will taste, I brought you into the chat section that we are tasting first Öreg Királydőlő Late Harvest 2017. It will be a single vineyard, and after this, the Szaborodni will be a single vineyard as well. And both of the wines are coming from the Öreg Királydőlő. No cheating, please pop up the wine while I am talking about the terroir of Öreg Királydőlő. So at the you can go back. Can you go back, please? Thank you. So in the picture you can see the Rekkaidül. This is one of the highest altitude in Hungary, 343-meter high, and it's also very steep, 63 degrees steep, and it has always been classified as a first quality vineyard, as a first-class growing area since the 18th century. And one of the most highly prized Tokaj wines originated from here. This nectar captured the famous and powerful Hungarian Rákóczi family as well. Thank you. And for everything unique, this vineyard had to suffer too. In the 1960s, when Hungary became part of the Soviet Union, this vineyard couldn't satisfy the quality-driven grape production, and that was the reason this vineyard was completely cut out and completely abandoned. This vineyard was reclaimed by the Black Locust Forest, and in 2003 it was purchased by the Barta family. Can you go on, please, with the slide? Thanks. And they decided to replant it. The replantation started in 2004 and 2005. So nowadays the plants are 17 years old, and they decided that time that the cultivation will be organics, since no pesticides or any systematic spraying that never has touched this area, because in the 1960s, when this area was abandoned, that was the time when the systematic chemicals came into Hungary. So we are fully organic in the vineyard and in the winemaking side as well. On this picture, you can see the beautiful contrast and interesting content of young vines lined between the several-year-old terraces. The terraces are also very special because they were built continually, stone by stone, during several centuries. Can you please swap? Thank you. And this picture, it's very clear that we have, this picture is very reddish, so you can imagine how much red clay we have in the soil. Also, we have volcanic rhyolite tuff and some zeolite is involved. And the soil is very, very rocky, stony, and we have of course, the Tokaj climate. The vineyard is situated, and the center of the vineyard is situated in Mad village. And we have a very special microclimate because of the terraces. Also, we consider the distant past, the past, and the present as a terroir. We can go further. I almost forgot to mention that 40% of the vineyard is cultivated only by hand. No machine are going into these terraces. 40% of the land are terraces, and 60% are corridors. We cultivate traditionally, which means bush vines, and these vines are 1 meter cross 1 meter close to each other, so it's impossible to cultivate by machine. The grape price varies between 5,300 and 10,000 per hectare, and we produce approximately 10,000 bottles per year. Of course, there are very good years, such as 2017, and we arrived to the wine, when we were produced 25,000 bottles. The wine that we have in our glass is a late harvest, 2017, as I mentioned, was a very good year. We could make through and produce our whole range. It means we produced method traditional sparkling wine, vivid crispy dry wine, single vineyard dry wines, late harvest, and the Tokaj wine specialties like Samorodni and Asszú wines. This late harvest is 100% Furmint and single vineyard from the Old King vineyard, so Rekreidülő, and it's overripe and shriveled the Furmint grapes were harvested and macerated unskinned for 3 hours. Then they were pressed very gently and very slowly. And we do a 24-hour settling. Then the wine was racked out and fermented. I started the fermentation in a non-saccharomyces cerevisiae yeast, a Togolashpora delphucis, and of course the temperature was very low. We started at 13 degrees and ended up on 18 degrees. I like to make temperature control also in the barrels. It was partly fermented in tanks and partly in small Hungarian barrels, Hungarian oak, Zemplén oak barrels. And after this, it stayed down finally for 4 months, and it was bottled on the 18th of August 2018. So it spent almost 1 year in barrel as well. As you can see in the analysis, residual sugar is 95.8 grams, so a little bit under 100 grams. Acidity is 6.6, so it has a very nice crispy acidity. And the acidity is the reason that we don't like to go higher on residual sugar, because I like to keep the wine in balance, and I like to set the alcohol also a little bit lower, 12.2, then it won't spike on the wine. It's the same with the oak usage. I like to use oak, but I like stainless steel as well, and because I like when the oak aging is in harmony with the wine. If I would drink it I can drink it as an aperitif. Look. And enjoy. And though I could imagine to drink it, for example, floating island with a meringue and with salty caramel, for example, or let's imagine to drink it with creme brulee, with blue cheese foam, for example, or with some baked duck breast with some relay mango and orange. Enjoy, and thank you for your attention. Should I speak more? Okay, so let's imagine with more food. For example, fresh goat cheese with ripened fig and a little bit of honey on the top, or maybe you can drink it with some goose liver and mango chutney, a little bit of mango chutney. Am I still on? Or, for example, you can drink it with a vanilla pancake with a little bit of mint on the top, and every kind of dessert with a little bit of salty caramel, cheesecake, for example.
Yeah, that's a disaster. Sorry, Vivian, you are still on. Yes,
Don't
thank
worry,
you very
I
much,
can go
and
on.
thank you to keep it while I was again off. And please stay with us. You did it very well, and yes, I believe it was the last time I was off the line. Uh, Thank you. Stay with us, and let's pass to Peter Molnar and Patricius, and you'll come back soon. Yes,
Okay,
Vivian.
thank you.
Just to say, Vivian is imported by Rafa Vino and someone new on the market, Alexander Hanger. Rafa Vino, Alexander Hanger. Peter, sorry for keeping you waiting so long. And now there was a problem with the voice. There was a problem with the voice, with your
Can
voice.
you hear me now better?
It's perhaps better. Yes, be closer to the microphone, please.
Okay, I try to shout anyway.
Yes, I know. It's not the shouting; it's the echo.
Okay, great. So let's skip to our wine, which is Katinka Noble Late Harvest from 2018. This is the wine. We produce this wine category since 2003, only in the best vintages when it's possible. So you have to know that for this wine, we harvest grapes which are partly shriveled and buttertized. In this case, around 40, 45, 50% of the bunches are buttertized, half shriveled, sometimes almost shriveled, and the rest is overripened but no buttertized berries. And so this is basically a kind of bunch selection we do, the same method as we do for summer Rodney. The difference between a good late harvest, noble late harvest, and the summer Rodney is completely the aging itself. So this wine was fermented, the 40% of the wine was fermented in oak barrels, first, second used oak barrels, typically 220 liter, but we use sometimes 350, 400 liter barrels as well because of the surface. And the rest was made in stainless steel tanks. It's not a recipe. In this vintage in 2018, we used three grape varieties to produce the wine, which was Furmint, Muscat, and Zeta. But vintage before in 2017, it was, for example, Furmint, Muscat, and Cuvée Solo. It depends on the vintage, depends on the balance, the character of the vintage. The question how the elegance and the balance comes always. We never decide by measuring things, ingredients, just by tasting, definitely always. So if you taste the wine, you can taste this fantastic, elegant character of the good Tokaj late harvest, which is a very promising tropical fruit kind of character on the nose. And on the palate, it brings also the same kind of orange, mango, some peach, quince, apricot, some fig character, but elegantly. Very velvety, very roundy, and very mineral. Sometimes it's surprising for the customers and for the tasters that the minerality can shine through the sweetness in this case. And that's why the good Tokaj late harvest are capable to match with excellent kind of food as well, and not just desserts. And I really would like to strengthen this, that for example, in our case, we sell a huge amount, a lot of bottles to Asia, almost the whole production, which is quite high already in Patricius because we cultivate 85 hectares, we could sell in Asia, but we also sell it to every other export markets of Patricius. Altogether, we have almost 20 international export markets. So it means that at every cuisine, every kitchen, it can be paired with a good kind of food, which we found that in Asia it can be even paired with even the spicy food, with a very hot chili food in South Korea, Japan, and China, for example, in Taiwan. So with Asian and Indian food, it can be also very good. Once we tried it with in even a steak, but their sauce was a kind of food-based sauce, so it made the bridge between the wine and the meat. So what I want to say is that the good Tokaj sweet wines are already much more than only dessert wines. Of course, these are excellent with fruit-based desserts, lighter desserts. For example, the good Charlotka in Poland, excellent to pair with this one. But besides many things, if the chef is brave and open-tongued, as I used to say, they can create a lot of nice things. We are very proud of Katinka, so it's so popular that we have to protect the name all around the world already. And the very good news for us that last year we awarded the gold medal in London International Wine Challenge with 95 points with this wine. And it's a good feedback, from professional tasters. And the best feedback when we sold a whole lot. So I think a good Tokaj late harvest is always a nice step towards the Asu wines. In this wine, even the youngsters can find already the nice aromas of the shriveled berries, and as it ages in bottle, is also elegant. So if you want to keep it, you can age it for 20, 30, 40 years in cellar if you want.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter. Thank you very much. And your wine is imported to Poland by a person named Slavek Hapak.
Yes.
And Danubia Fine Wines, is it?
Exactly. Yeah. He's a very good colleague, a professional, and you can find him. And he's like us. So what he says, this is the complete truth because we are in very strong contact in him. This is a long wedding already, long connection with Slavek. So just please go to him and you can reach our wines at Danubia Fine Wines.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and stay with us, please. Yes, and now Mate Todt and Grof Degenfeld back to the screen. Yes, Mate, Grof Degenfeld, and now yes, we are starting the Samorodny series.
Yes, I'm here.
And hello, yeah. So see on the tasting chart, please observe the growing level of sugar, which practically each wine will be stronger, except the first aspect. Yeah. So Mate, the floor is yours. I'm muting myself.
Thank you very much, and hello everyone again. The previous wine, I talked a lot about the estate and how the touristic center is built up and what are the components of our estate and what is the history making up our estate. But this time I would like to concentrate a little bit more on the wine. So starting with that, which we have now is a 2017 Sweet Samorodny, and this wine is this vintage was very excellent in the sense that there were a lot of botrytis. The botrytis was very widespread, and it came in the right time, which is very important because the grape is ripening gradually, and the botrytis has to come after the ripening is complete, because then there is the sugar which can dance up, and also it's not overripe. So, for example, in a hot weather, you have no botrytis, but you lose acidity. So this was a very good variety in a sense. It was balanced. The rain came in the right moments, and this provided a harvest with a lot of botrytis, a lot of good Novorod quality Osu grapes, and we could harvest a lot of Osu wines. And also at the end of November, so I think around 24th November, we harvested this Samorodny. So this is a very, very late harvest material, but it still kept a nice acidity. So after that, normally we are the only thing we are afraid in the grapes analytically is the phenols. So the pressing is quick. We don't separate the stems from the berries. So we just dump it in the press. We press start, no soaking, and then we start the fermentation, and we age the wines in barrels from 200 to 500 liters, and we keep on aging them for a bit longer than a minimum requirement. You have to age Samorodny for at least half year in barrel. We aged this one for 11 months or almost 12 months, and of course this. The barrel aging has to be in balance with the concentration of the wine. So, and the variety, which is interesting to taste here, comparing with all the other Samorodnys you are tasting today, is that it's 100% ferment. So there is no harsh level or Muscat Blanc included. It's only Furmint. That's why it's and having only Furmint in a Samorodni, that makes the botrytis the most dominant effect in the wine. And the minerality and the nice acidity of 7.5 grams per liter, it really brings out the flavors. If you smell it in the bouquet, you can find a little bit of this kind of Christmas smell, the little bit of sweet, the sweet spices which is associated normally with Christmas. The sugar content is 100 grams per liter, which makes it more on the denser side of the Samorodnis. But we didn't. In the past, we had some vintages where we made super heavy Samorodni, but actually many feedback came that a smaller residual sugar content fits us better, or maybe just only fits our market better. So it's a difficult question. I think everybody has to, if all the Samorodnis would be the same in the wine region, then it wouldn't be worth to try a new and different kinds all the time. It received on the Berliner Wein Trophy with the two other wines. It received the Gold Award this year, so we are very happy about that. This is a Gold Award, but in Berliner Wein Trophy, these have silver color, but it's written gold. So anyway, it's sometimes hard to figure out. So this is what you have to know about this wine. I recommend it with the general sweet wine recommendation. If you have some very this kind of mature cheese, for example, blue cheese, it goes especially well. Or the sweetness and the spiciness compensates. For example, like this very spicy Asian food. For example, our winemaker really likes Asian food, and he really likes to cook, and he always recommends sweet wine specialties from Tokaj with spicy Asian food. But that's not the most usual pairing that you will receive in a Hungarian restaurant.
Okay, thank you very much, Mate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and please stay with us till the end of this tasting, right?
Okay, I will.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Thank you. And now, Vivian, please come back, Vivian. You're back. Okay, perfect. So now, please, the second wine and still Orekirari. Yeah, we can't hear you.
Yes, I know. Thank you. So next wine will be Samorodni from Barta Winery, vintage year 2013. Again, a very good year. This wine was made by the previous winemaker, Attila Homona, and he produced 8,800 bottles from this wine. And it is also a single vineyard wine from the Rekkirai Dülő Old King Vineyard and the Tokaj Wine Specialty Samorodni. He macerated the bunches 16 hours unskin, and then he pressed it, and the fermentation, it went through fermentation in small Hungarian barrels, Zemplén oak, 220 liter Szerednyei barrels, and after he chilled down the wine, added sulfur, and let it on fine list for 18 months. And this wine was bottled on the 10th of October 2015. As you can see, the alcohol is very moderate, and it has a very nice acidity, and residual sugar is 115. In the nose, let's check it out. In the nose, you can find a little bit of lychee, lots of pineapple, lots of bananas, apricot, already a little bit of dried apricot, but it's still very fresh. You find a lot of tropical fruits. Oh, I almost forgot to say that it went through spontaneous fermentation. Let's give it a try. It has a little bit of cashew character, a little bit of walnut, still lots of apricot, mango, also pumpkin. It would go very well with baked pumpkin and a little bit of honey and maybe goat cheese. Also very nice with tikka masala, Thai food. I could imagine it with lots of curry and maybe Thai green curry as well. Of course, the traditional pairing like goose liver, roquefort cheeses, or maybe if you like floatni, it could be very nice with floatni with just a tiny bit of apricot jam, but walnut and poppy seed would go very nice with this wine. Mm, this is a very complex, structured wine with, I think, a very long finish. And I wish you all the best, and I wish you to have this taste in your mouth for a very long time today. It was very nice to meet you, cyber meet you, and enjoy the rest of the tasting. And if you have any question, please don't hesitate to reach out and to contact me. Bye. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank you very much, Vivian. Sorry, thank you very much. And the wine is just to remind, the wine is imported by Rafa Vino and Alexander Hanger. Yes.
Yes, and also Moja Vina.
Moja Vina, it's not a company.
Yeah, it's not a company. It's just a wine bar. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Moja Vina, that sounds very promising, but I don't know, actually. Right. Thank you very much. Stay with us, please. And Heini, this is you? Is this you? We never met.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
yes. Yes, we can hear you. So the first, let me just say a few words. 2,000 bottles. Only 2,000 bottles? Is it true?
No problem. Say it again. What did you say?
I say the wine we are tasting now, we are going to taste now.
2017.
2,000 bottles.
Sweet Sommelier.
And the total production is how many bottles?
Shall I go on with my presentation? I just wanted to say good afternoon to everyone, and we will continue with another Samrodny and another wonderful 2017, and it's 2,000 bottles, correct? But before I talk about the wine, let me introduce our winery a little bit. Let me introduce myself because we haven't spoken about Erzsébet Pince in this tasting before. So Erzsébet Pince is a small family winery, and the winery was founded by my parents in 1992, and our first bottled vintage is from 1993. Our annual production at the moment is around 12,000 bottles, of which 60% is dry and 40% is sweet. We have 7 beautiful parcels in 4 different villages in the vicinities of Tokaj, Tarcal, Mád, and Bodrog-Keresztúr, and the 7 different parcels give us a possibility to experience different terroirs, different vineyards. So that's very lucky. We like doing that. My parents came to the region or started making wine in the region in 1974. My mom's family is from the region, and her great-great-grandfather was one of the Tokaj wine artisans who was mentioned by name in the Tokaj album that was published in 1867. So her family was making wine in the region, and my father's family was also vineyard owner. Were also vineyard owner in the 1700s. In 1765, my father's family is recorded as owning vineyard in Mestervölgy in Tarcal. So both of my parents have very deep roots, deeply rooted to the Tokaj region, even though my father is from the other side of the country. And my brother and I, the second generation, we joined the life of the winery in 2008. And now to the wine. Um, when we talk about style, about wine, we can talk about style. And when we talk about style, there are several factors that are given, and only a few that we can actually influence by winemaking, but we can do our best, of course. So we have talked about the wonderful vintage of 2017, excellent abundant botrytis in our vineyards. It was a warm and sunny fall, and you went out into the vineyards. I have several pictures that I could have sent you, but we were limited to 5. But I have several pictures where I photographed the botrytis in 2017 because it was so delightful, clean, healthy, beautiful botrytis berries. It was truly a 5-star vintage for this category. And in 2017, there was concentration, but there was also acidity. So as opposed to some of the 2013 or some other vintages, 2017 had everything. So the vintage gave you the perfect possibility to make an outstanding botrytis wine. And the variety for us is 100% Furmint. We always try to make our botrytis wine category Samorodni and Asu from our Király vineyard. So the terroir is Király, and it's in Mad, exactly where Barta Winery has presented the 2 wines from. And the soil is clay with volcanic rhyolite, full of volcanic rhyolite, which determines the character, the acid profile, the flavor profile, and the aging potential of this wine. It has a very strong, very, very recognizable character. The acidity is beautiful. You can see the figures. It's around 8, it's more than 7%. And the aging potential is long. And it was fermented in new Hungarian oak, and then it was aged for another 12 months, for 12 months in used Hungarian oak. When we make a wine, we try to achieve balance. Some wines go for concentration, some wines go for body. We like to go for balance, of course, with all the given factors, but this vintage made it possible because we had concentration, we had acidity, and when we use the oak, we try to be very, very careful. We try to have mild, understated, supportive oak in the wine. So it helps to lift up the wine, but it doesn't sit on the wine. It doesn't suppress the beautiful character of the wine. So that's what we try to keep in mind. And this Samorodni, besides having a beautiful balanced structure, has a very, very nice, strong citrus. And this is the time when it's showing citrus, but then it's gonna age, it's gonna change, it's gonna mature, and it's gonna show you 1,000 other things. And this is what is wonderful about Samorodni. And here I come to food pairing and drinking window. And the drinking window for Samorodni it's going to age for a long time, but it means that you can start drinking it young. And I think this is one of the reasons why the required aging time was shortened slightly, because really 12 months in oak, which can be 6, but 12 months in oak and another 6 to 12 months in bottle aging, and it will make the wine perfect for drinking. So you can start drinking it young, and it's delightful and it's easy to drink, but then you can follow the wine as it matures for like 20 plus years. I don't want to be very, saying big numbers like 50, but it will probably age for 50 years as well. But I would just say 20 plus. And it's a wonderful thing to follow a wine when you open the bottle. You can open the bottle and follow the wine. that's a story. But when you follow a wine across its aging, that's an epic. So, but you need at least 6 bottles for that. So, you know, 1 bottle is okay, but 6 bottles, you can follow how it matures, and it's actually wonderful. So this is the drinking window. And food pairing again, very easy with Samorodni, because if I want to drink it on aperitif, I can. I think it's wonderful for aperitif because it doesn't take away my hunger. It has nice acidity. And then with starter, I would also pair it with starter because you can have it with some liver pate, wonderful, or you can have it with some starter cheese dish, wonderful, and you can have it with ham, wonderful. Main course, I would not drink this Samorodni with a main course. Let's just give room here to other categories. We have some other wonderful categories for main course, but then we come to the dessert, and I say yes again, and it can be drunk as dessert or it can be drunk with dessert. Some people like to go easy on the dessert. They, it's wonderful if they just drink a glass of sweet wine because it's much easier on their calories. But if you want to drink it with dessert, then you have to be careful that the dessert is not too sweet because it can make the pairing a little too much. The wine has enough concentration, enough richness to stand up to a dessert, but you don't want to make it too sweet. So cheese, definitely. Cheese is a great pairing, and here I would suggest some aged hard cheeses, like an aged cheddar or something similar to a Comté, or the Alpine cheeses, the aged Alpine cheeses like an aged Gruyere or an aged Etivas. They would be wonderful with this Samorodni. My saliva production has started up seriously here. And when we come to, the percentage of dry and sweet, we make only 40% sweet wine. This is part of the 40%, but that 60% is dry, but that's also determined by the vintage. The vintage is vintage variations in Tokaj are very strong. These variations are stronger in many parts of the world. Well, not so much in some of Europe, but even more so than in some of Europe. So actually we have to be very flexible. We can't go by recipe. We have to be very flexible and follow what the vintage will give us. And 17 was definitely Osu and Samorodni, and late harvest, go for it. Dry wines were beautiful too, but we made a lot of Osu and a lot of Samorodni, 2,000 bottles of this. A lot for us, we're small, but we use the vintage. So 60% is dry. And most of our wines are forming based. I told you that this Samorodni is also 100% forming.
I'm terribly sorry for interrupting, but we have to move on as we are terribly late. So this was 6 minutes per winery.
All right.
So please.
I think I said most of what I wanted to. So I just want to say one more thing. Just give me one more sentence about dry wines. It's not even about the Samorodni. I just want to say that I'm happy about the dry wines as well, because we are right there up with Puligny Montrachet and Puy Fuissé. This is what Tokaj can do in dry. This is just referring back to some other comments earlier. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and stay with us, please. Right, ladies and gentlemen, and now we pass to the Osu wines, and and I was authorized by Hajnalka to speak few words in Polish because this is deadly serious what I'm going to talk about. So here it is. Next slide, please. Yeah. Wszystko, co jest ważne tutaj, tak naprawdę jest na tym zdjęciu. To, co widzicie po lewej stronie u góry, czyli winogrono podpisane dry, to tak naprawdę jest winogrono jagoda na wina wytrawne. Natomiast to, co się dzieje później, to są winogrona, które powoli zaczynają wysychać. One wysychają zarówno same z siebie, jak i przy udziale pleśni. To jest zwykła, szara pleśń. to samo, co mamy w słoikach. Tyle, że przychodzi w odpowiednim momencie i stąd tak jak gość codzienny i gość niedzielny to są różni goście, więc to jest taki gość niedzielny. To nazywa się ta pleśń pleśnią szlachetną, Botrytis cinerea, i kiedy atakuje odpowiednio dojrzałą jagodę, nie zagraża temu, co jest w środku. Uszkadza tylko skórkę. To jest dokładnie to samo, co z drzemem truskawkowym wysoko słodzonym, który nie pleśnieje cały, tylko na górze. Prawda? Przykład akurat domowy, więc bliski. Pleśń szlachetna zmienia nie tylko zawartość wody, przez perforację skórki sprawia, że woda wyparowuje, ale ona przede wszystkim zmienia w pewien sposób, zmienia aromaty i zmienia skład chemiczny jagody. I dlatego tokaje asu są, czy też wina samorodnie, które też już są prawie zbotrytyzowane, tutaj jeżeli zobaczycie to na dole, samorodnie słodkie, to też są już winogrona poddane z udziałem botrytis. Dlatego tokaje asu zawsze pobiją wszelkiego rodzaju eisweiny, ponieważ mają znacznie ciekawszy skład, są znacznie bogatsze w smaku i mają przede wszystkim fantastyczny stosunek kwasowości do słodyczy. I to tak naprawdę bardzo krótko o tokajach asu. Chciałbym tylko, żebyście wiedzieli jedną rzecz, że jeżeli norma dzienna, to nawet dzisiaj było konsultowane z Hajnalką, norma dzienna dla zbieracza w winiarni zwykłej podczas winobrania to jest około 300 kg winogron, to człowiek, który zatrudni się w winiarni zbierającej grona asu, musi donieść 8-10 kg rodzynek. Przyjemne, nie obciąża kręgosłupa i każde grono, każda kiść jest, każda jagoda jest wyciągana z kiści pojedynczo. To nie jest kwestia zbiory ręczne czy mechaniczne, po prostu wyciągamy pojedyncze jagody z kiści. I to trwa, tak jak tutaj jest napisane, od września do wczesnego listopada. Jak pogoda się zepsuje, no to wszystko może się również zepsuć. I to, poproszę następny, tak wyglądają zrodzynkowane grona asu. No i to jest w gruncie rzeczy chyba najistotniejsze, co miałem powiedzieć, bo kwestię dojrzewania sobie może zostawmy, natomiast zobaczcie jeszcze to, co tutaj mamy. Te grona asu składowane, czekające na kolejne dostawy gron asu z danego rocznika, wyciskają pod własnym ciężarem, wyciska się z nich sok. Ten sok to jest esencja. Tutaj jest napisane do 900 gramów cukru na litr. I ja, o ile pamiętam, najsłodszą piłem w Disnok, miała 917 gramów cukru na litr i była całkiem przyjemna. Jedyne wino na świecie, które nie ma minimalnej zawartości alkoholu. No, określonej w przepisach, ponieważ jest tak słodkie, że nie wiadomo kiedy do końca się fermentacja. I tyle, jeżeli można. To chciałbym, żeby tak się Państwu wdrukowało, że mamy do czynienia z czymś niezwykłym, wielkim, wspaniałym i dzięki nam zbudowanym, częściowo przynajmniej. Okay, so now we are coming back to Andrea and Disnoki and Asu 5 Putoniosz last two wines. Andrea, please join us. Disnoki, czyli dzicza skała po naszemu. Are you with us, Andrea? Hello? Last two wines. Tak, skoro nie ma jeszcze Andrei, to jeszcze powiem 2 słowa po polsku. Bardzo mi przykro, że Petera Molnara nie było słychać za pierwszym razem, ale to było związane z tym, że pierwszy raz w życiu znalazłem się chyba w trakcie własnej imprezy, poza imprezą. Zdarzało mi się owszem zasnąć kilka razy na własnych imprezach, ale jednak nie wychodzić chyba. O ile pamiętam. Także przykro mi, mieliśmy rzeczywiście problemy techniczne. Right. Andrea, hello. Are you with us? To może wpuścimy Heini jeszcze raz. Andrea? Hello? Please click on the icon. Yeah, here below my face. Yeah, she's coming. She's coming. She's coming in. Wait a moment. Andrea, the voice is given to you. She logged up. Ah, she's coming back. Yes. Yes. Let me just will read the text from Heinolka. So perhaps if Andrea is not with us for a while, perhaps Heinolka Sabo, please join us. Heinolka? Yeah.
Yeah, I am here. Now, I am very professional to use this platform on iPad, iPhone, and on my laptop. Yeah, so I would like to add the word that I have already had some feedback that you who taste this wine, you really enjoy this wine. So very sorry for the technical issue in Central Europe. It's the Wi-Fi, it's everything, but I think it's one reason that you have to come to the wine region and you have to visit us and you have to taste the wines here. And I had feedbacks that the wines are really good. I think so, that you taste excellent wines. And in my introduction, I forgot to tell you that to celebrate this event, this tasting, this online tasting, we activated today the website of Tokaj Renaissance in Polish. So you can have a lot of information and your customers may have a lot of information in Polish in the tokai.hu website. So you have the presentation of all of the wineries. You have a lot of information about the wine region, about the history of our association, about our achievements, and you have information about Tokaj as a touristical destination, so historical sites, panorama points, wine tasting, etc., etc. So please use our website and please recommend to your customers to visit our website. So I would like to give the word to Andrea. Hi.
Hi, sorry again. I'm not sure what happened again, but it's always a bit difficult to connect to you, but hopefully I'm here. So I will be very quick. This is the last wine. This is an Asu 5 Buttners Disnote. Oh, sorry, right here. And I hope you have already in your glass. So this is our current vintage, what we sell in the market in Poland by Konrad, you have already mentioned. This is the 2012 Disnoke 5 Puttonyos. The grape variety, what we use normally is always Furmint and hash level. So again, the grapes and the asu berries is Furmint and hash level here again. As you know, the harvest is long labor-intensive process for us when we talk about asu wines, and this is starts in October and in November, sometimes in December. So really, really long process once we do this harvest. But it's very important. One of the most important harvest is, I think, the asu harvest, because it's manual and it's selected one by one, berries by berries, asu berries by asu berries. And as you show on the previous slide, that's that special purple berries. This is our asu berries, which is affected by the botrytis, and it's really important, the botrytis quality. And in 2012, it was a really nice vintage for us, for the winery, and it has a really good. What we can do, we can pick really nice quality asus. One of the nicest and vintage with full of asu berries. So we can complete it very well, the vintage. The harvest. What I talk about, we do one by one, and we started in October, and it was manual, as I mentioned, and it's really important to pick perfectly. And sometimes we do the selection one or two or three times in the vineyard to look for the perfect asu berries. Asu and the sweet wine, it's really important for the snoker. Actually, the production, it's really focusing the sweet wine, and 5 Puttonyos asu is the main focus in our production, in our portfolio, and we're really doing hard work on to do the great quality of 5 Puttonyos. The process is really important. The winemaking process, it's traditional, as it's already presented. We do a traditional winemaking process, so 2 years in a barrel and 1 year in a bottle, of course, before we actually release the asu wine. So, and you can see also in the analysis that we really focus on the acidity, the sugar, and the alcohol content. So these three components important to be in a well balanced and in a perfect harmony. And really we're looking for in asus this kind of harmony. So once you can taste the wine, in the smell, in the nose, in the taste, these things, it's really important to be in a perfect balance, which means that you cannot feel the sugar really too high or the acid level too high. It's perfectly balanced. So this is our perfect experience with the 5 Puttonyos. So this is what I wanted to say. Of course, many people have already mentioned the dishes. We also recommend it with very nice food recommendation, but sometimes just alone as a simple dessert wine. Of course, it's nice with other foie gras or cheeses, as it's mentioned, but I don't want to be too long. So if you have any question, just please ask.
Well, let me just ask you one question, Andrea. You said the 5 Puttonyos is the most important. It's more important than 6 Puttonyos.
To be honest, we have to do every year a little high quality 5 Puttonyos, so which means that the 6 Puttonyos is also very important. Of course, the asu is a category which is important for us, but we do not do every year 6 Puttonyos. So Six Butanish is only the excellent vintages. So not every year we can do six Butanish. So in another way that we do the five Butanish every year. So this is why I'm saying that this is the reference wine.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. Please stay with us. It won't be long now. It's just one wine, and then we make a meeting if it works, and the attendees could ask you the question. And now this is Prugina. Hello.
Yes. Hello everyone.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Last wine, we can hear you. And,
Great.
so I give you the voice.
I see I have very limited time, so I want to talk a few bits about the winery. The winery was founded in 1995 by the family Zweck. So Isabella Zweck is one of the owners of the winery. She's from the famous distiller family who is making the Zweck Unicum, which is distilled from 40 different herbs and spices, which is a very famous thing in Hungary. So Isabella is from the sixth generation of this family, and the another owner of the winery is Attila Domokos, who is also the winemaker and the managing director of the winery. So you can see our building now. It's a 150-year-old building, which was renovated in 1999. And we have, thank you. So we have 5 hectares of vineyards around Mad, all of them around Mad. We work in the Urágya. You can see the Urágya vineyard now. This was planted from 2004 to 2015. You can see this was the new plantation. You can see, so this is a relatively old picture. So we have 0.5 hectares of Pinot Noir here and 2.5 hectares of Formint in this vineyard. You can see this is complex of terraces and also normal lines. So we have also 2 other territories. One is in the Becek vineyard and the other is in the St. Thomas. All of them are 1 hectare each, and they are mostly Formint. So Attila joined the winery in 2003, and after a few years of producing only 6 Butonyos Asszú wines, they started to make other wines too in 2003. So right now we have a wider selection. We have a late harvest, we have a Pinot Noir, single vineyard, dry Formint, sweet Samorodni, and also Essentia and a specialty, which is a vinegar. You can see now our 151-year-old traditional cellar, which is an aging cellar, which has perfect conditions for barrel and also bottle aging. Our production is around 25 to 30,000 bottles in a vintage, and I cannot really say a percentage of dry or sweets because it differs to each vintage. One thing is sure, we always make a dry Formint and also a 6 Butonyos Asszú wines, and the other wine types are made. Yes?
Sorry for interrupting, but you mentioned Pinot Noir.
Yes.
Which is actually red.
Yes, exactly.
Most often red. Yeah, and you make it under the name of?
It's Upper Hungary. It's Upper Hungary. It cannot be Tokaj, unfortunately, but we are not sure if we want to call it Tokaj because we also want to protect the Tokaj heritage. So we call it Upper Hungary, but it is planted in the Urágya vineyard in Mad. And we planted it in 2004. We used French clones to this Pinot Noir, and our wine is called Isabella Utca, which is a metaphor. So Utca is street in English. So the name of Isabella and the Utca is like finding a new way, a new path in the winemaking of Tokaj with this red wine, which was a brand new thing in that years. So we make this wine from 2008. And right now there are a lot of wineries who are cultivating different non-Tokaj varieties like Chardonnay or other red or white types. So that was a new thing then, but now it is a really common thing to make different things. So I don't know how many pictures we have left. Yes, so this is also the winery. So we have also the cellar here under the building, and also we have this new part you can see where we have the wine house. So we have the fermenting and aging part, and also we have the stainless steel tanks here, and we make like every procedure here in this section of the winery. Okay, the next one, please.
It's the last one.
Okay, so then we can go to the technical sheet. Okay, so very, very new thing. We got a golden medal at the Vinogora wine competition, and it was announced today. So it's very fresh news to share. We are very happy to say it. So this is a brand new wine. It is now available at the winery, but will be available in a few weeks at our wholesalers. I have to start talking about the Assu with the late harvest wine, because it is generally the base wine of our Assu. So we first make a late harvest called Milita, which is made from half botrytized bunches. So the bunches are half botrytized and half healthy. And this is a very important thing, because the base wine is already a very aromatic and very sweet wine, around 120 grams of sugar. And we soak the Assu berries into this base wine. We put 1 kilogram of Assu berries into each 1 liter of the late harvest. So that's why we get a relatively high sugar content. So you can see that the residual sugar is 211.6 grams in this wine. So 2016 was a very lucky vintage for us, because the previous 5 vintages were a bit lower in quantity. So as I mentioned, we make 6 butonyos Assu wine from each vintage. So it happens that we can make only 1 barrel, which means 250 bottles. But we make it. We try to gather every single Assu berry to make it. But in 2017, we could make 6,100 bottles, which is a huge thing for us. So the very important things are that we try to use the minimum amount of sulfur through the winemaking process. To reach this goal, we always keep focus on the hygiene in the winery. We are also using a naturalistic approach in the cultivation. So we are organic, but not certified, unfortunately. We are suitable for vegans also. And yes, so the notes of the wines are the typical notes of a 6 butonyos, like candy, dry fruits of apricot. We have honeyed aroma and also the vanilla of the oak in the wine. And we like to pair it during the wine tastings in the cellar with blue cheese. We have a blue cheese produced in the Italian part of the Tyrolean mountains, which is aged together with the pressed assuperis. So it is a very nice specialty. And unfortunately, currently we don't really have the possibility to bring this cheese to Hungary because of the well-known conditions. But I hope that in the near future, if you come to visit us in Tokaj, you can taste the cheese and also all of our wines, not just the six butonyos.
Okay. Thank you very much, Regina.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now, well, this was the last wine. So now it's the time for question and answers. And now we're going to try, as this is first time in history, we're going to try to change the formula of this webinar from the webinar to the meeting. Yeah. Hello, Heinalka.
Hello, Bello. Before the tasting, you asked me to speak a little bit about the red wines of Tokaj.
Yeah.
So, as Fruzsina mentioned, they in their portfolio they have Pinot Noir. So today, the red wine production of the Tokaj wine region is not more than 10 hectares from the 5,800. So it's a very, very low production. And in different producers, as at Dobogo, it's usually Pinot Noir. Before the phylloxera, there were red wine production in Tokaj wine region. So the phylloxera epidemic reached Tokaj region around that 1885. And before the phylloxera, around 7-8% of the production in Tokaj was red. So which grapes were produced? Cabernet, Merlot, Petit Verdot, Malbec, so mainly Bordeaux varieties, and the Hungarian grapes named Purcsin, which was produced before the phylloxera. So now these red wines are sold as Upper Hungarian wines. These wines can be used, of course, the name of the appellation of Tokaj. So Tokaj wines are made only from the 6 grapes that I mentioned in the very beginning. So Furmint, Hársevele, and Muscat. These are the main grapes, and 3 other grapes are the Kabar, Kövérszőlő, and Zeta. And then other additional information that in the 70s and in the 80s, so still under the communism, some other white grapes were planted in Tokaj, as Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, and these wines are sold under the name of Zempleni. So it's not a huge part of the wine region, but for example, near Sárospatak, you can find Chardonnay plantation at Chateau Medier and Sauvignon Blanc, but the main grape of the wine region is Furmint, of course. And then other information that I mentioned that in autumn time there will be a village festival in Bodrog-Keresztúr, Bodrog-Kisfalut. So it is the village of Nobilis Patricius Füleki. So it's a village festival, and the date of the festival, I checked it, so it's between the 8th and 10th of October, between 8th and 10th October. So it's a wonderful event. Usually we have a lot of guests from Poland, so I hope this year we will have even more. Thank you.
We will be all there, from 8 to 10, yeah, October.
From 8 to 10 October, yeah.
Yeah, and there's one question, how big is the association? How many members do you have?
Yeah, in the association we have 19 members. So between the members, we have bigger companies like Disnok, Deresla, and smaller family-owned company as, for example, Dobogo and Füleki. We are medium-sized winery with production of 35,000 bottles, but some smaller producers just produce 10,000 bottles. So when the association was founded in 1995, there were 8 founding members, mainly foreign-owned companies. So the target of these companies was at that time, so we are just after the political changes, so 5-6 years after 1989. So it was to bring back the tradition and the noblesse of the Tokaj wine. And all of these companies, all of the founding members and all of the today members of the associations. So the main goal is to export, to put the Tokaj wine on the wine list of every single wine distributor in the world.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's try to change the formula for the meeting. And now everybody is allowed to speak. Yeah. Hello. If you want to ask any question, now feel free. Hello, this is Andrea. Yeah. And this is Fruzina. And the Polish part? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
This is Stettin, I think.
Szczecin.
How do you pronounce it?
Szczecin.
Szczecin, okay. Would you like to ask some question?
So, first of all, we would like to thank you for perfect, really perfect tasting. We are really, really impressed. The wine was wow. Everybody are really happy, and we have some questions. So first of all, our friend, real sommelier, Dominic.
I don't know if you can see me. But
Yeah, you will.
Tilt it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Hello. Thanks again for the presentation. Very nice wines, wonderful stories, and a lot of information. Very useful for myself. And I was very happy today to learn that in Tokaj, the red varieties from Bordeaux were widely used. And that's kind of brought up an idea of barrel aging. And I wanted to ask you if it has been like a traditional way of making wines in Tokaj using barrels, because when I think of Bordeaux and sweet wines, obviously Sauterne is the thing that I think about, and the barrels are used over there quite widely, and this is the style that is mainly used in Sauterne. And I was wondering if the barrel aging for Tokaj wines, especially the Ashu wines, is inspired by Bordeaux winemakers, or maybe it's something that has been in the tradition for a longer while.
Maybe it was before.
Maybe before,
Yeah.
yes.
It was a question.
Yes, that was
long
the
question.
That was the question.
Question with explanation.
Who would like to answer? I think is the next question, because there's a lot of you.
Yeah, maybe I try to answer to this question. So I really don't think so that. Sorry, no, I can hear myself on my PC as well. Okay, came back. So I think it's not really inspired from the Bordeaux winemaking, but in my short introduction, I said that Tokaj was introduced in Europe very often by Polish merchants, and the Tokaj wines were sold for centuries in Poland. And at that time, the Tokaj wine was transported to Poland in barrel. So I'd say that at the time the storage of the wine was barrel. So traditionally in Hungary. In Hungary, we have 22 wine regions. So all Hungary is a wine producing area. Everywhere in Hungary, you can produce wine. I was born in an area near the Lake Balaton where we have a little family vineyard. And for example, in family vineyards, we use only barrel, only exclusively barrel. So it's in the Hungarian wine tradition to use barrels. Winemaking tradition, yeah.
I just want to add one thing. I just want to
Anyone
say
else
that
would like?
I just wanted to say that the first Asu was made in the 1500s, and they were just mapping the Bordeaux marsh. There were no wineries in Bordeaux. It was a moor, a marsh, and Hungary was already making the Asu absolutely in barrel. So it was not Bordeaux that inspired barrel aging. I think, yeah.
Perhaps it was the other way around then.
Well,
Bordeaux was inspired by Asu.
She didn't say that, but we all heard that.
Okay, there's another question. What are your expectations regarding this vintage 2021? Anybody?
Well, it's
The weather condition.
It's really hard to jump into conclusions at this point, but what makes it really tricky that the vegetative cycle of the grapes started really late, extremely late. Of course, it differs a lot from vineyard to vineyard, but 3 weeks, 4 weeks delay, it's something that didn't happen for around 2 decades. So that's a very rare occasion, and we don't really know what happens at harvest time. Probably we cannot. We plan to not harvest in the end of August as we usually do for the fresh dry wines, but we have to wait probably until September even with the Muscat, but we are not sure yet because it really depends on the upcoming weather during the summer. If it has enough rain in the proper times, if this heat wave we experience at the moment will stay, at how long. So this late start is a very interesting development, but otherwise we will see. Anybody else have something to add?
Yeah, maybe that this year we have 2-3 weeks late. So it depends on the summer what will happen. So this year we have the potential of a good vintage, but to tell you the truth, in last years every vintage. So we have not average vintage. Either it's too hot, either there are too much rain, and very often we have huge storms. So it's a big challenge. It's every year it's a big challenge for the vineyard managers to harvest good quality because the weather.
So let's start this, please. So we hope for a very good vintage, and we have no fungal disease at the moment in the vineyard. The vineyard looks just beautiful, so we hope for the best.
Well, there were our colleagues from Upper Silesia, but perhaps they tasted a little bit too much. Yeah. There is a special word in Hungarian language for something like doing nothing, drinking wine, seducing women. Is there? Do you know this? No.
I think we just call it life.
Can you repeat, please?
Lengel something. Lengel Köse, Lengel. It's according to the. No? Okay. Right. Well, I don't see there some new questions coming, but still many participants here. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. I hope this was a really good tasting, unless I was off for some time. Sorry for that. And let's be in contact for the next things we can do together. Right? Thank you very much, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you much. Thank you very much for listening and for the great opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your work.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.